Welcome back to Spoiled Vision Movie Recaps. Today, we delve into the 2015 action, mystery, sci-fi film Self/Less. Beware of spoilers. In a luxurious NYC skyscraper apartment, Damien Hale, a wealthy businessman with terminal cancer, gazes through expansive glass windows while a nurse prepares to depart, gathering her tools. Realizing he has only 6 months left to live, and never having revealed his condition to his estranged daughter, Claire, Damien confides in his close friend, Martin, during a lunch meeting. Their strained relationship stems from Damien's past workaholic tendencies, leaving little time for his daughter. Martin encourages Damien to disclose his illness to Claire, believing it could mend their fractured bond. Before parting ways, Damien questions Martin about shedding, a concept unfamiliar to his friend. While in his limousine, Damien attempts to reach out to Claire, but she doesn't answer his call. He retrieves a business card from Phoenix BioGenetic, recalling a conversation with the company's owner, Dr. Albright. Dr. Albright's mission is to offer exceptional minds the opportunity to extend their lives and reach their full potential through a process known as shedding. Phoenix BioGenetic offers genetically enhanced bodies for a substantial fee, and Damien remembers questioning the legality of their service. Dr. Albright's response emphasizes a different perspective. Do you feel immortal? This reflection leaves Damien contemplating whether to accept Albright's offer. He visits Claire, who manages a non-profit organization, and gives her a financial gift without revealing his illness. Claire rejects the money, perceiving it as an attempt to manipulate her, and a sense that money can solve all problems. Back in his office, Damien feels disheartened by the outcome with Claire. Determined to gain a second chance at life, he intensifies his research into shedding and Phoenix BioGenetic. He learns that the procedure was originally developed by Dr. Jensen, who aimed to separate the mind from the body, enabling people to exist beyond the demise of their physical selves. As Damien's illness worsens, causing him to cough up blood and lose consciousness, he decides to contact Albright and schedule the shedding procedure. Albright explains the necessity of cutting ties with his past life and instructs him to travel to New Orleans to publicly stage his own death. The following day, Damien boards a plane and contacts Martin, proposing a lunch meeting in New Orleans. Before their rendezvous, he visits a graveyard in New Orleans and discreetly buries an enigmatic box near a grave. During their lunch, Damien stages a fake seizure, collapsing to the floor. Alarmed, Martin dials 911, and an ambulance promptly arrives. However, instead of transporting Damien to a hospital, they rush him to Phoenix BioGenetic. The procedure commences swiftly, with Damien being injected and placed in a machine while fully conscious. The intense lights and cacophonous sounds heighten his discomfort, but his consciousness rapidly transfers to his new youthful body. Upon turning his head, he witnesses his former body, unconscious and lifeless, which elicits shock and revulsion, leading to vomiting. Albright explains that he'll need some time to acclimate, and in the interim, Damien experiences hallucinations as objects undergo surreal transformations, such as a picture of a field with horses. Dr. Albright cynically remarks that death has its side effects. For the foreseeable future, Damien must remain at the facility, undergoing training and physical therapy to adapt to his new body. He is compelled to assume a fictitious identity and history, adopting the name Edward Kidner. Initially bewildered and despondent, he eventually embraces his handsome new appearance, but the persistent hallucinations and headaches persist. Albright prescribes pills to aid in the neural transition, cautioning that failure to take them could result in severe migraines, hallucinations, or even death. Damien must also remain in New Orleans for regular meetings with Albright and to secure a weekly supply of the pills. Upon completing his training, Damien is provided with a lavish house in New Orleans that now belongs to him. He, now known as Edward, rapidly adjusts to his new life and begins engaging in local activities, such as playing basketball. It's during these games that he befriends Anton, his neighbor, who invites him to socialize. That very night, they visit a nightclub where every woman's gaze is fixed on Damien, now a striking young man. However, he struggles to respond to inquiries about his life, occupation, and age, making others perceive him as somewhat unusual. Nevertheless, Damien establishes a new routine far sooner than expected. He socializes with friends, plays basketball, enjoys intimate encounters with attractive women, retrieves his pills, goes clubbing, and relishes life's pleasures. Over time, this new routine begins to lose its appeal, particularly as he yearns to reconnect with his daughter, Claire. Amidst his melancholy, he forgets to take a pill one day, resulting in hallucinations. These visions include flashbacks of military service and images of a quaint town with a pumpkin-shaped tower. Damien's hallucinations also feature a mother and her ailing daughter living in a rural setting. Given the vivid and compelling nature of these hallucinations, Damien starts to believe they are genuine memories. Subsequently, Damien shares his visions with Dr. Albright, who dismisses them as a blend of old memories and current emotions. As an attempt to divert Damien's focus, the doctor offers him tickets to Hawaii and doubles his medication. Albright suggests that Damien's recollection of the sick child and the Latina woman in his hallucination might merely be the result of his longing for Claire and a fleeting one-night encounter from his youth. However, Damien realizes that he never disclosed the woman's ethnicity to Albright, sparking suspicions about the doctor's knowledge. Sensing something amiss, Damien embarks on an online search to find the Pumpkin Tower. To his surprise, he discovers an identical tower in a small street Louis town. Seeking answers, he decides to outsmart Albright by heading to Street Louis instead of Hawaii. Before departing, Damien revisits the graveyard and unearths the buried box, containing money, documents, and credit cards. He takes some and proceeds to the airport. One of Albright's operatives tails him, but Damien manages to elude his pursuer, catching a flight to the small town. A few hours later, he arrives at the very same pumpkin tower he saw in his hallucinations. Next to the tower, he notices a house and knocks on the door, but there's no one inside. Suspecting hidden truths, Damien enters the property and finds medical bills and parts of a respirator machine. Crucially, he discovers a photograph of Madeline and Anna, the mother and daughter from his visions, along with an image of his new self. It dawns on him that the body he now inhabits was not genetically engineered but belonged to a real person with a life. As Damien grapples with this unsettling revelation, Madeline returns home and, from behind, points a gun at him. He implores her to calm down and slowly turns toward her, where she collapses to the floor, overcome with disbelief, believing her husband had died. Just as Damien attempts to explain, Albright's henchmen storm into the house, subduing Madeline and attempting to abduct Damien. Anton, Damien's friend and a former Phoenix BioGenetics operative, also arrives, revealing his role as a spy assigned to monitor Damien. He discloses that Madeline's husband, Mark, had agreed to exchange his body for financial compensation to cover his daughter's medical expenses. Damien is shocked and confronts Anton, outlining Albright's actions as those of a murderer. In response, Anton offers a callous metaphor, likening Damien's situation to discovering that the new car he purchased had some prior mileage. Despite his anger, there is no point in returning to the house, as they plan to eliminate Madeline and destroy her property. Damien, guided by a strong moral compass, resolves to outwit Albright's men and save Madeline. Faking the act of swallowing his pills, Damien seizes an opportunity to escape by attacking one of Albright's men in the bathroom. Drawing upon Mark's military instincts, he eliminates a few of Albright's henchmen and rushes to awaken Madeline. Unfortunately, during a struggle, Damien loses his pills. Anton and the others attempt to set the house ablaze, but Madeline and Damien take cover beneath a platform and retaliate by shooting at their assailants' legs. In due course, Damien dispatches all of his adversaries and makes a run for the car with Mark's wife. He deceives Madeline, posing as her husband and explaining that he had agreed to undertake some unsavory tasks to fund Anna's medicine. Together, they head to Anna's school. Upon arrival, Anna mistakes Damien for her father and excitedly rushes into his arms, exclaiming that she knew he wasn't dead. Later, the three of them secure accommodations at a motel. Damien utilizes a computer to investigate Phoenix BioGenetic further. He uncovers that Albright was a student of Jensen and obtains the address of Phyllis, Dr. Jensen's wife. Without access to his pills, Damien is plagued by a migraine and falls into hallucinations once more. Concerned, Madeline is unsure of how to assist, but Damien formulates a plan to visit Phyllis and gather more information about the company. The following morning, they drive to the nursing home where Jensen's wife resides. Damien impersonates a student conducting research on Jensen's work and requests Phyllis to provide him with the doctor's old papers and documents. Phyllis, who suffers from Alzheimer's, believes Damien's story and shares a wealth of information. It dawns on Damien that Albright visits Phyllis weekly, prompting him to deduce that Jensen is inhabiting Albright's body. He coerces Phyllis into calling Albright and inviting him to her location. When the doctor arrives, Damien brandishes a firearm, demanding more pills. However, Albright reveals a grim truth. The more pills Damien consumes, the more Mark's identity and military skills fade. And without the pills, Damien's consciousness will fade into obscurity, allowing Mark to regain control of the body. In a bid to force Albright to take him to the lab, Damien abducts the doctor. As they navigate the hallway, Albright's men stage an ambush and disarm him. They begin to transport Damien to a concealed vehicle, but Madeline intervenes by striking one of Albright's men. To their surprise, the assailant they struck turns out to be Anton, now in a new body. It becomes evident that Anton has undergone multiple sheddings, enabling him to adapt swiftly to new vessels. Damien confronts the remaining guard, and as the young couple prepares to escape, Anton cautions Madeline that Damien is concealing something and urges her to inquire about their daughter's birthday. Concerned and suspicious, Madeline requests they pull over once they are safe from any immediate danger. She aims to clarify matters, particularly in light of Anton's warning, by questioning Damien about Anna's birthday and other details of their shared life. Unable to provide satisfactory answers, Damien begins to explain the situation to Madeline, who becomes increasingly agitated and angry at being manipulated and having to disappoint her daughter. She grapples with the challenge of explaining to Anna that the man who looks exactly like her father is, in fact, a stranger. Albright's men, however, threaten to harm her as well, forcing her to reluctantly cooperate with Damien for their mutual survival. In a bid to secure assistance, Damien devises a plan to seek help from Martin and ensure the safety of Anna and Madeline. They arrive at Martin's mansion, and Damien convinces Martin of the truth by recounting details known only to the two of them. Martin agrees to help and coordinates their escape. Subsequently, Damien grapples with how to break the news to young Anna that she will never see her father again. In the process, he starts forming a bond with her, creating new and heartwarming father-daughter memories. They enjoy moments like swimming together, while Madeline watches from a distance. Content. Given that Damien now inhabits her husband's body, Madeline begins to feel an attraction to him. She requests to listen to his heart and kisses him, which makes Damien uncomfortable. To divert her attention away from Mark, he opens up about his previous life, sharing his relationship with Claire. This candid conversation brings them closer. However, Damien notices that all the mirrors in the house are covered, prompting him to suspect something amiss. He learns of the tragic death of Martin's son 2 years ago and becomes concerned. In his search for answers, Damien finds Anna in a large playroom, playing with a little boy. He realizes that Martin brought his own child to Phoenix BioGenetic and provided him with a new body. It becomes evident that Martin had betrayed them, informing Albright of their location, and the killers are waiting outside to eliminate them. Damien confronts his friend and explains that the little boy's body is not a lab creation but belonged to another person's child. Shocked and disgusted, Martin decides to genuinely assist them this time. Martin leads Madeline and Anna to safety on foot through a forest, while Damien engages in a car chase with Albright's men, who are pursuing him. After a dramatic confrontation that involves gunfire and car crashes, they all end up in a massive car accident. Damien ensures that all the assailants are deceased before heading to a diner to meet Madeline and Martin. However, only Martin arrives and he reveals that Madeline and Anna got ahead of him in the forest. They sought help from a mysterious car on the road, unknowingly falling into the hands of Albright's men. Martin was unable to prevent their abduction as they were too far away. Damien also learns that Martin had planted the business card from Phoenix BioGenetic as a means to assist him. Most significantly, Damien discovers that Martin has deciphered the formula for Albright's pills and can manufacture them from scratch. However, Damien grapples with the ethical dilemma of continuing to take the pills, as doing so means gradually erasing Mark's consciousness. He postpones this decision for the time being, with his immediate priority being the rescue of Madeline and Anna. The plan involves abstaining from the pill for 12 hours, hoping to leverage Mark's memories to locate the lab's whereabouts. During his withdrawal period, Damien notices a Mardi Gras float storage facility near Albright's lab, prompting him to head to New Orleans in search of the storage area. The following day, he arrives in New Orleans and discovers the lab adjacent to a Mardi Gras storage facility. Infiltrating the lab, Damien subdues several guards without alerting anyone. However, inside the room where consciousness is transferred, he encounters two new bodies, and suddenly, Albright appears behind a glass wall. Sardonically, Albright informs Damien that Madeline was the perfect body match for a new client, and Anna's organs won't be wasted. Enraged, Damien shoots at the separating glass, but two of Albright's men swiftly intervene, disarming him. Damien is destined to become a new vessel for Anton's consciousness. Before stepping into the transfer machine, Damien clandestinely swallows a bullet without anyone noticing. To the surprise of everyone, including Albright, when Anton awakens in Mark's body, he is actually Damien in disguise. Albright tests Anton to ensure his identity, then instructs him to assassinate Madeline and Anna. However, when Anton arrives at their location, he eliminates the guards and rescues the mother and child. Damien had been in Mark's body all along. The trio escapes the lab and confronts Albright's men. Eventually, they find themselves in a room with a glass wall separating them from Albright. Damien reveals that he carefully listened to instructions during his first procedure and recalls that the transformation won't work if there is metal in the bodies. By swallowing the bullet, he managed to remain in Mark's body. Albright, unaware that Martin has cracked the code, believes Damien won't kill him because he possesses the pill formula. In a dramatic turn of events, Damien uses a torch to burn Albright. After their escape, Madeline and Anna are taken to a safe location that Martin had arranged for them. However, Damien chooses not to join them. Instead, he goes to see Claire, posing as a friend of her father's. In this heartfelt conversation, he opens up about Damien's regrets regarding their past, expressing pride in Claire's achievements. Subsequently, Damien hands Claire a letter and departs, casting one last glance at her through the window. The next scene reveals Damien waking up in a hotel room, filled with confusion. He discovers a video of himself on a computer. To his astonishment, Damien is no longer inhabiting Mark's body. The billionaire opted to stop taking the pill, allowing Mark to reclaim the life that had been taken from him. Mark is in a state of shock but overflows with gratitude. He subsequently joins Madeline and Anna, who are now living on a beautiful tropical island, marking a new chapter in their lives. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification for more movie recaps.